Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Friday, the 13th option expiration edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, got the S&Ps trading down 4 points here this morning. Maybe a little response to the negative numbers from J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, I think that's what's moving the market down here, Joel. JP Morgan came out, numbers weren't great. Not bad. It's down 90 cents here, so it's not getting killed, but the stock is not performing as well as you'd hope. The market's down $4 here.
Okay, looking at the S&Ps here, 1295 was the overnight high. Just shy of Thursday's high, 1297.50. Trading though above, or made a high above yesterday's high, intraday high, which was 1292.75. If that 1295 holds up as a high of the day, we have a downside target of 1278.75. The Globex low currently stands at 1286.75. Really don't have a significant number for you there, folks. Using the settlement and the pivot, the 1290 to 1291, moving on to the 10, starting with the biggest of the 10, Apple Computer. Very quiet range yesterday. Potential double top here at 422.85 and 90, which were Wednesday's and Thursday's high. Closed at 421.39, currently trading slightly below that level. Had a lot of lows in the 418.75 to 419 area, Dennis. I think whatever way we break out before 19, I think this stock could be heading back down to the 412, 413 area. On the other hand, if we can break above 423, maybe make a shot at that all-time high.
Stock has just been quiet here, Joel. It's been quiet for quite some time. Only a 3-point range there yesterday. It's trading down 14 cents today. This stock is just gearing up for a move, probably one way or another. But it's hard to really say which way the stock's going to break here. But it's definitely gearing up for something. Obviously, keep in mind the 427.75 for you longer-term traders. That's a 52-week high. And if we start to break down below this 415 area, then we could look at that 405 area, Joel.
Okay, now moving on to ExxonMobil. Kind of went down in sympathy with the Chevron news yesterday. Closed at 84.74, currently trading down 20 cents from there. We did sneak under that 84 level, Dennis, made it low at 83.94. So that's our first stopping point on the downside. Let's use that close as resistance, 84.74. Excuse me, 84.74 up to Thursday's high at 84.92 will be our resistance in ExxonMobil.
Joel sneezing on our listeners there. Anyways, $85 is the resistance area. 84.92 is where we got to yesterday. Call it 85 though, Joel. That's where we broke down from. That was the old support, so I would continue to use that as resistance. Looking down, $84. I think you might get a little initial support just from yesterday's low being 83.94. But the chart looks broken here. I think rallies still need to be sold here. And if you're lucky enough to get a short off there in that 84.90, 85 area, that looks like not a bad bet.
Any size?
I don't see any size form there, no, Joel. I don't see any size there. I think it's because it's taking it all out there, but it's just a technical level. So, your technical traders are probably taking a note of that level, which might give it some relevance.
Okay, I noticed on the break yesterday that IBM was extremely weak. This thing sure is trying to hold the 180 level. It's dipped below there. It got made a low at 178.38. Really did not participate in the rally on the upside. So let's use that 180.55, the close, as resistance. The low, Thursday's low at 178.38 is decent support. But below that, I got another $1.25 drop to our November 25th low of 177.06.
Chart looks broken on this one too to me, Joel. It had a little bit of a quiet day yesterday, but overall, we got to look at that 178.38. If you take out yesterday's low, the downtrend continues. But just looking here, you can kind of see how this, this little pennant there is forming, and then you got this down higher, where you're getting lower lows and lower highs. So eventually here, you got to think it's going to take out this 180 with some conviction. We take out yesterday's low, and then it gets ugly.
We could just play our tape here. Really getting a wall here, Dennis. 27.98 was Wednesday's high. You had some highs earlier in the week at 28.10, 28.15, and now 28.19. You really have to be careful if you're playing it from the long side here because you're going to run into a host of resistance. Coming back on the downside, I would look at 27.65, which was Thursday's low, and Wednesday's close at 27.72. So this thing's winding up, Dennis. We're either going to break above and hold this 28 and move into uncharted territory, actually, since about a year ago, or we're going to break down below this 27.65 level and travel back down perhaps to the 26.5 area.
Just a little audio difficulty there. Joel's talking about Microsoft. We just chopped out for a couple seconds there, so MSFT, obviously, with their Big Ten. Yeah, I agree, Joel. I think this 28 area, 28.02 being the high yesterday, that continues to provide resistance here. If we get above that 28.15, 28.20 area where we were trading there a couple of days ago, then you can start to think about it going higher. But it's good that it closed, or no, it's good that it broke the 28 yesterday. But we're still right there, 27.96. So I think you got to play from the short side until it can start trading like 28 and a quarter.
Okay, moving on to our next component, Chevron Corporation. Came out with the bad news yesterday. I'm actually opened at the low of the day, 104.52, and mounted a rally up to 106.04. Since we are trading below the close, 104.97, that will be some minor resistance. Above that, you got a lot of air up to the 106 level, 106.04. And above that, you have a gap between 106.04 and 107.13. Coming back on the downside, things could get dicey. We take out this 104.52 level. Next stopping point is our low from December 21st at 103.55.
Yeah, the Chevron area bouncing off that 104.52. We were calling it 105. Got a little bit below that. You've obviously, if it continues to move down here, there just isn't a heck of a lot below this, Joel. I'm looking down and you see that 101 area. Maybe that's where it could eventually test here. Chart's broken on this one too, just like on ExxonMobil. I think rallies are meant to be sold. If we were lucky enough to get back up in that the high 106s, low 107s, I think that might be your opportunity to sneak out of some longs or to initiate a short position.
Okay, J&J challenged that 65.5 area yesterday. 65.54, 41 to 54, another double top area. That's buffeted by the 5-day high at 65.60. Just that whole area, major resistance.
Yeah, the 65.50 here, Joel. We've got definitely some major resistance forming in that area. 65.40, 65.30s. You probably see some high frequency guys. We are on option expiration here, so it is possible that the 65.50 area could, if we are down a couple points, but if for whatever reason sometimes you get some wacky opens, keep an eye on that 65.50 area, and I'd expect some pretty good high frequency resistance in the 65.40s.
Okay, moving on to Procter Gamble, currently unched in the pre-market, bumping up against Thursday's high, which was $66. Got a lot of resistance there. Wednesday.
Audio problems again on your side, Joel. I'll just step in. $66. I've seen some size for them there. That's where we were topping out there yesterday on Procter and Gamble. So $66 is where we're sitting. That was yesterday's high. I see some size actually starting to form there. For whatever reason, we can open up here on the day in that 65, high 80s, 65, 90s. I think it gives you a pretty good opportunity to try a sell. Above 66, all bets are off.
Okay, AT&T quarter with a 30-12 close. Held the $30 level yesterday. If it can't hold 30, look for 29.73, which was Wednesday's low, and resistance at Thursday's high at 30 and a quarter.
Yeah, and above that, then you get into that 30-50 area that we talked about before. AT&T had a pretty good day yesterday. It was slowly drifting up, On a day, the market wasn't doing a heck of a lot yesterday either, but it was down for a lot of the day, the market, before closing higher. And AT&T, I just noticed, was bucking the trend for a while, but quiet day overall for AT&T. It's been quiet really ever since it went ex-dividend there. I think a stock like this loses interest until it starts getting closer to the dividend, but your major resistance up here at 30.50, and that $30 could be a decent swing number.
Okay, GE forming a wall here at the $19 level. You have 95 up to 1905, so I'll be using that as a major resistance point. Coming back on the downside, 1876 was yesterday's low. Break below that, and we test Wednesday's low at 1850.
GE is forming the Great Wall of China there, like you were saying there the other day, Joel. 19 is huge on this stock. Again, the high of the move, or the high yesterday was 19. Continue to play it off that. If it can't take the 19 out, I can continue to be a seller in the 1890s. If for whatever reason 19 does trade out, then all bets are off, and you probably don't want to be short. But 19 is giving you some stiff resistance here.
Okay, Coca-Cola continuing its weakness from the downgrade 2 days ago. Made a low at 67.35. Popped up then to recover. It settled at 67.57. Below that 67.35 level, Dennis, you have some lows from the 18th and 19th at 66.22 to 26. So perhaps I might form a little double bottom there and get a little recovery. Coming back on the downside, you don't have a lot of resistance. Your first minor resistance is at 68.06, which is Wednesday's close, and then above that, Thursday's high at 68.50.
The only thing I really see is 68.50 here, just from an order or from a book perspective. I see a little bit of size starting to form up there in the 68.50 area. So I'd expect, with yesterday's being high at 68.50, yesterday's open being at 68.42, a little bit of size form there. If we were to go into rally mode in Coke, I think you'd see some pretty decent resistance in the 68.40s there, as those high frequency guys lean on that level. Breaks down below yesterday's low of 67.35, then it starts to open up again, and even 67, I don't see that much. There was a few bottoms there in late November, but or earlier in November, but below that, then you look at that 66, and there's decent support at 66. So following my whole number theory, I don't know about the 67, but I like the 66.
Okay, the S&Ps are just hovering above this Globex low here, 1286.75. So we'll keep an eye on that, as well as the close at 1291.75. That's our first show for today. Trying out some new systems here, so sorry for the slight audio problems. We'll try and get them.
We'll be back with you with the market movers.